have stayed away from Boker Plus knives for about 9 months now. If you're a long-time subscriber to my channel, you know that I have had a problematic history with knives from Boker's budget product line. But among my many weaknesses, my enthusiasm for small fixed blades was stronger than my common sense. In other words, I had a relapse and bought this little guy, the Boker Plus Rambler. As many other knives from the Boker Plus product line, this knife is made in China. As far as I know, the Rambler is not yet available in the United States. However, you can already pre-order it on some US websites. The street price should be around $28. In my book, this fairly low price is a big plus of this knife. What really caught my eye is the somewhat unconventional design by the Austrian custom knife maker Raimund Lotak. I don't know much about him. His website displays only a few of his knives and tools, but this design truly speaks for him. In a way, this knife reminds me, and this is not a negative point, it reminds me of a chef knife that had been put through a shrinking machine. Let's go over the measurements and materials real quick. The overall length is 13.7 centimeters. The blade length is 6.8 centimeters. The blade thickness is 3.1 millimeters. And the weight comes in at 60 grams without the sheath. The sheath adds another 30 grams. The handle scales are black and blue G10, a very beautiful color combination that makes the knife really stand out. The blade steel is 440C, not a high-end steel by today's standards, but 440C is still a good choice for a decently priced knife. Not necessary to mention that the blade came razor sharp out of the box. The Boker Plus Rambler is a full tang fixed blade. As for the blade, as you can see, there is a lot of belly on this knife. The blade is hollow ground and comes with a satin finish. The spine of the blade is really unique and in my opinion adds a lot to the character of the knife. There is this generously dimensioned thumb ramp, which really helps for precise cutting operations. The edges of the spine are slightly rounded, which is not always the case with inexpensive knives. And the last centimeter of the spine is a little swedge. The handle is designed for what I would like to call a 2.5 finger grip. A lanyard may help to get a better grip on the knife, but even without the lanyard, the handle and the thumb ramp provide a comfortable grip. By the way, this lanyard didn't come with the knife. The lanyard hole is large enough for 550 paracord. I removed the inner strands on this one, but the lanyard hole also works with the inner strands intact. As for the fit and finish, it is amazingly well done, which is not always the case with Boker knives. Unfortunately, I do know what I'm talking about. But this time they really did a great job. There are no gaps. The handle scales are nicely rounded and all the pins are flush with the surface. Nice. Now for the weak point of this knife, the sheath. From what I had read on the German knife forum, I knew that the sheath is not a high quality product, so I had been warned. And indeed, the sheath is more like a little extra, an add-on to the knife. It's a leather sheath with a belt loop. Now the good news is that the sheath is fully functional. The retention is pretty decent, and if you carry the knife in a backpack, the sheath may not be an issue at all. But in my opinion, the sheath simply doesn't match the character of the knife. I think a Kydex sheath would have been a better option for this type of knife. I have been carrying the Rambler for a week now, and there are already several spots where the color is peeling off just from taking the sheath in and out of my EDC bag. Also, the stitching is not very accurate and the overall fit and finish is really poor. But given the very reasonable price of the whole package, The poorly made sheath is not a big deal for me. I know some really good Kydex benders here in Germany, and I will get myself a custom sheath for this little guy. Let's do a quick size comparison. First, let's see the Rambler side by side with the well-known Isula. Although the Isula is larger, there isn't much of a difference if you look at the cutting edge. Now let's compare the Rambler to some other small fixed blades from the Boker Plus product line. Here I've got the Boker Plus Rhino, one of my all-time favorites. The cutting edge of the Rhino is a little longer. This is the Boker Plus Pocket Bowie. Now that's quite interesting. The overall length of both knives is pretty much the same, but in terms of the handle-blade ratio, the knives are complete opposites. The blade length of the Rambler matches the handle length of the Pocket Bowie and vice versa. In the beginning I mentioned that the Rambler almost looks like a scale model of a chef knife, and I'm sure it would make a great little helper knife for outdoor cooking. Having carried it for a week, I can also recommend it as a general utility knife or as a secondary knife. Maybe you want to combine it with a larger folding knife. And with a custom-made Kydex sheath, you could even carry it as a neck knife. All in all, it's a nice fixed blade. Forget the sheath, the knife alone is definitely worth the money. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.